You said what you actually thought, calmly. No raised voice, no drama. And halfway through your sentence, they cut you off and just kept talking, like the words hadn't even left your mouth. You didn't push back. You told yourself it wasn't worth the fight. So you let it go. And then they kept talking to you exactly the same way for the rest of the conversation. Like your opinion was background noise. If this has happened to you more than once, with the same person, in the same kind of moment, the problem probably isn't what you think it is. It's not that you weren't clear enough, or that your argument wasn't good enough. Something else is going on, and once you see it, you can't really unsee it. Disrespect almost never starts with someone screaming at you. It starts small. A short answer when you expected a real one. An eye roll you're not supposed to notice. A tone that says, "I already know you're wrong," before you finish the sentence. And after a while, you stop expecting to be heard. You start expecting to be interrupted. Researcher John Gottman spent decades studying how couples talk to each other. And he found that this exact pattern, communicating from a place of superiority through mockery, sarcasm, or visible disgust, is what he calls contempt. And out of everything he measured, contempt was the single strongest predictor that a relationship was heading toward collapse. Stronger than people raising their voices, stronger than flat-out disagreeing. Just the quiet signal that says you're beneath me. Here's the part most people miss. Contempt is rarely the opening move. It builds. One small dismissive moment gets a pass, then another. Then it becomes the normal way that person talks to you, because you never pushed back on it. So let's talk about what's actually happening when you go quiet instead. You back off. You lower your voice. Maybe you even nod along with something you don't actually agree with, just to get the moment to end. From the inside, that feels like keeping the peace. But here's what that silence costs you versus what it saves. In that 1 second, you avoided friction. Over time, you taught the other person that this works on you. Psychologist Albert Bandura spent years studying how people learn behavior, and one of his core findings was that we repeat what gets reinforced, even socially, even without anyone consciously deciding to reward it. If someone interrupts you and the conversation just continues on their terms, that interruption got reinforced. Not because you let them disrespect you on purpose, because backing down was the path of least resistance in that exact second, and that's a completely human thing to do. But here's something strange. The person interrupting you may never realize they've become more disrespectful. From their perspective, the conversation is simply working. And what happens next is the part most people don't expect. The behavior usually gets a little bigger, a little bolder, a little more frequent. Not because the person is plotting against you. Most of the time, they're not even aware they're doing it. It's just that nothing in the interaction told them to stop. This is where most people accidentally make things worse. When someone treats you like you don't matter, the gut reaction is often to try harder. Explain yourself more. Add more detail, more justification, more proof that your point was valid. Or the opposite gut reaction. Get louder, get sharper, match their energy and snap back. Both of these usually backfire, and here's why. Over-explaining often reads as uncertainty rather than clarity. It signals that you need their approval to feel okay about what you just said, which, without anyone meaning it this way, confirms the power imbalance that triggered the disrespect in the first place. And snapping back gives the other person exactly the kind of reaction that makes the moment about emotion instead of about the actual disagreement. Now you're not the person who got interrupted, you're the one who got upset. What actually shifts the dynamic is something quieter and, honestly, less satisfying in the moment. Calm, unbothered clarity. Not raising your voice, not repeating yourself 5 times, just naming what happened plainly and not flinching. Something like, "I wasn't finished," or "I'll wait until you're done and then I'd like to finish my point." Say it in a normal tone, like you're stating a fact about the weather, not making an accusation. This works for a reason that's almost the opposite of what people expect. Calm is harder to argue with. It doesn't give the other person a fight to win. There's no escalation to match, no emotional reaction to point at and dismiss. You've just stated something true and moved on. A body of research on assertiveness training supports this, across multiple studies, including controlled trials with university students. People who practiced this kind of direct, non-aggressive communication saw measurable drops in their stress and anxiety levels afterward. Not because the other person necessarily changed, because the person being assertive stopped carrying the tension of staying silent. That changes the way most people see this. The goal isn't really to force someone else to respect you. You can't fully control that. The goal is to stop the part where you abandon yourself in the moment just to avoid friction. But even if you say exactly the right words, there's one mistake that can erase their effect. There's a second layer to this, and it's about how you carry yourself physically, not just what you say. When you're caught off guard, the instinct is often to shrink, shoulders in, voice smaller, eyes down. That's a completely normal stress response. But it also visibly signals I feel small right now, and people pick up on that, consciously or not. Some of the more dramatic claims about posture changing your hormones didn't hold up under closer scientific testing. But the psychological effect is real and has been replicated across multiple separate studies. People who keep an open, grounded posture, shoulders back, feet planted, not making themselves smaller, consistently report feeling calmer and more confident in the moment. So this isn't about faking confidence you don't feel. It's that the way you hold your body in that exact second changes how you experience the situation internally, and that shows on your face. Now, not every short answer is contempt. People have bad days. Someone might be distracted, stressed about something unrelated, or just not great at conversation in general. The real test isn't a single moment. It's the pattern over time. Ask yourself, does this happen with this person specifically, in this specific kind of moment, over and over? Or was this a one-off, followed by an apology, or at least some normal warmth afterward? One rough conversation is just a rough conversation. The same dismissive tone every single time you bring something up. That's a pattern, and patterns are the thing worth addressing. And here's the harder truth. Sometimes, even when you respond with total calm and total clarity, nothing changes.